Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the weeks of May 25th through June 7th. Today is Saturday, June 7th. So, I should have a pretty short episode today because there's not much to talk about. I have been exploring other places throughout the last couple weeks. So, I think I had mentioned to you a while back when my schedule changed that I really wanted to, get out more, see things and things like that. And that's what I've been doing. And it's been taking up a bit of my time. So reading is down, crafting is down, but I am enjoying myself. So we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. But I do have some books that I'd like to talk to you about. I finished 3 books since I talked to you last. I'm in the middle of 2. I did do a little bit of knitting, so we'll have a small Yarnie update and then we'll get to what I've been doing over the last couple weeks towards the end of the video. So let's get into it. So I think one of the last things that I read for May was my entry for middle grade May. I really would have preferred to have more reads for middle grade May than I did, but at least I was able to get one in. And so I finished The Replacement by Lindsey Duga. So this is a story about a girl whose family moves to the country because her father's job schedule kind of changes and it allows him to work from home more. And so they decide to get out of the city and move into this really nice house. This house has a tree house in the backyard, and this girl has a little sister, and she also has a mom that also works out of the house. And so they're kind of just moving in, adjusting, but weird things start to happen to this girl. And she starts seeing things, little strange things out of the corner of her eye. And really, this is a supernatural type of story. You get a feel for what's going to happen in the first couple chapters of this book, so it's not like a real surprise. But I really enjoyed this story. It was interesting. I feel like the whole supernatural element was done very well. It was a little bit spine tingling as well, and I enjoyed my experience with this book. I will say one of the things that really bothered me though about this is because we have the story from our main character's perspective, and she's young, right? And when weird things start to happen around the house and inevitably she gets blamed for doing those things, she never speaks up for herself. She just internalizes everything because, her parents aren't going to believe her. But at the same time, I kind of feel like, okay, you're not like sticking up for yourself at all. At least try. You never know sometimes. But she's just like, oh, what am I going to do? And it got a little bit irritating for me, but that was pretty much the only thing that bothered me. Like, her little sister is very, very clever, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the story as well. And then she meets a friend, of course, right? And so the whole thing about what's going on with the house and things like that, very interesting. Again, it was a bit spine-tingling as well, and I really enjoyed reading this book as well as the first book I read by this author, which I believe was called The Girl in the Headlights. I read that I think a couple years ago and enjoyed it, which prompted me to pick this one up. And so, yeah, really enjoyed this one. I think I gave this one 3.5 stars. And I'm looking forward to reading more from this author. I think there is definitely a couple more titles from this author that I'm really interested in. And she has some other young adult titles as well. And so I definitely want to explore the author's library of work more. So that was the first thing I finished. And then I finished my audiobook, which is Breaking Dawn, which is the 4th book in the Twilight Saga series by Stephanie Meyer. Finally finished my reread of this series. I will say that probably now it's not as enjoyable to me. I think still to this day, Twilight is my favorite installment of the series. I used to say that it was Twilight and Breaking Dawn, but there's a good portion of Breaking Dawn that I don't enjoy as much, like the whole first 2/3, I think. There's just some stuff that goes on in that part of the book that is not as interesting to me. And if you've read it, you probably get where I'm coming from with what happens in that first part of the book. But once things start rolling and you start to have that sense of danger that comes in towards the end of the book, that's when the story really picks up for me, and I really, really enjoy that part of the story. So I think I gave my reread of this particular installment 4 stars. Still a very enjoyable and entertaining read, but I do think that Twilight is probably still my favorite of the whole series. There's just something about it, and I think at the time when I read it, it really hit. And I think I mentioned to you before that I wasn't as much of a regular reader when I picked up Twilight at the time that I did. Like, I've read my entire life, but there was a good portion of my life where I was just too busy to read. I didn't make time for it, and I just wasn't reading every day or most days. And when I picked up Twilight, that's what really jump-started me back into reading almost every day. And just, with things that were going on around the time that I picked it up, the movie was coming out. We went to a midnight premiere, and there were a whole bunch of fans. And it was just like, I don't know, just a time in my life where it's really nostalgic for me. It brings back all of those memories. My daughter was really young when the movie came out as well. And it's just a nice thing to kind of remember. And so, yeah, I still enjoyed my reread of it. I did listen to it on audiobook. I do enjoy the audiobooks. I own the audiobooks. And so, yeah, it's definitely going to be a series that I revisit from time to time in my life, and an enjoyable reread. So now that I've finished with my reread of Twilight, or the Twilight Saga, I can finally start some other vampire books. And I do think that my next vampire book to pick up is going to be Dark Lover by J.R. Ward, which is the first book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series because of the TV show that is coming out. But it is Pride Month, and so I definitely want to be focusing on books that are LGBTQIA+. And so I started reading my first book towards that because I needed a new audiobook. And so I finished Cult of Personality, which is the 7th book, or it says Season 1, Episode 7 of the Criminal Intentions series by McCade. So I read this series on and off here and there, but it is one of those ones that I really, really enjoy. It is kind of Criminal Minds, but you're following 2 queer detectives who are forced to work with each other at the beginning of the series, and eventually they get together. I don't think that is spoilery at all. You can probably figure it out just by reading the first book, but there's so much pining in this series. And in this particular installment, we finally get to see some progression in their relationship, and I really, really enjoy that. This case that they're working, though, in this particular installment was not my favorite, and it had a lot to do with the fact that the case is very religious-based, and that those are not the types of cases that I enjoy as far as seeing what's going on, the reasonings behind things like that, and all of that. I think that's all I'm going to say on this case. I am listening to this on audiobook, so I've pretty much listened to a good portion of this series via audiobook, and my Hoopla availability from my library does offer them. I enjoy the audiobooks much more now than when I first started them, because when I first started this series, I didn't think the voices match the characters, but now they're definitely the characters to me. And our 2 detectives are not only queer, but they're of color. Malcolm Kalaji is Persian, and Song Jae Yoon is South Korean. It's really an interesting series. I love the teamwork that our 2 detectives have together. Their investigative style is really good as well, and the cases are always interesting. And even though I didn't enjoy this case as much as I have previously, it was still an interesting investigation. And like I said, we finally got some progression in the relationship in this installment. So all in all good things. Gave this one 4 stars. This definitely does read like a TV show. So if you like shows like Criminal Minds or CSI, Law and Order, that kind of thing. It kind of follows that format where you start off the episode or the book with the crime happening, and then you follow the investigation. There's not usually court proceedings. I think there was one installment that had a court proceeding, but other than that, it's mostly just investigation up into the arrest and things like that. Mostly stuff that happens like on the hunt, on foot, in the police station and things like that. So really enjoyable series. This one was rather short though, so I was able to get through it pretty quick, but I did order the 8th one. I am collecting these physically because I enjoy them that much and really want to support the author. And so really enjoyable series. If you're into TV shows like that, I would definitely check this one out because it's very much like watching one of those TV shows. It does get explicit, just so that you know. So know that before you go into that series. But other than that, very enjoyable series. And I gave that one 4 stars. So that's everything that I finished reading since I talked to you last. Now I'm in the middle of 2 books right now. I had to replace my audiobook, and then I had to pick up a new physical book. So I actually started this one before May was over because there wasn't that much time left. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get a head start just in case this read takes me a while. And so I decided to go ahead and read River Bay Road Men's Dormitory Volume 1 by, I think it says also known as Arise Zhang. There is a Chinese name here, but I can't pronounce that, and so I'm not going to. But this is basically a contemporary story about a man who was in the film industry, and he's kind of wanting to write his own screenplays now. He's at that point in his life where he's made his millions, and he's still relatively young, but his grandparents passed away, and he inherited this, let's just say it's like a mansion. I would say it's like a bigger house. But it seems like in this area, it's considered more of a place for people who are well off. And so anyway, he's been living there, and he's like trying to get his screenplay accepted. And he is someone who doesn't have a lot of like outside interactions with people. He's very much like a homebody and hasn't really had lots of opportunity to socialize. He has dated people here and there in his life, but he doesn't like socialize regularly, and so therefore he doesn't have a good basis on how conversations go. And so when he's putting together his screenplay, the conversations that his characters are having are really bland. And so he decides that he needs to be able to observe some people and their interactions to help him write his characters better. And so he decides to rent out the rooms at River Bay Road, which is, it's number 7 River Bay Road is what his place is called. And so he has 4 or 5 rooms in this house, plus the one that he stays in. But he basically puts himself out there as the caretaker of this place for his friend. He tells these people that he has this really rich friend, and that friend is away and can't take care of this place, and so he's taking care of this place for the friend. And he puts out an ad for gay men only, to be able to rent rooms at this place. And it's like such a great deal because he prices it really low, and so he gets applicants pretty quickly, and he ends up with a group of applicants who end up moving into the house. One of them is a single father, one of them is like a fitness buff, kind of with his own like business. You've got a photographer, and there's a guy who does live streaming for his occupation. And so right now where I'm at, I would say I'm about halfway through. The guys have been living together for, I think, a couple weeks now, and they go out together. They do like group activities. So one time they played laser tag, and now they've just hiked up a mountain. And so they're kind of doing these activities to get to know each other and be better housemates and things. And it's a really nice read, but there's not much there for me to be like, oh my gosh, I really got to get back to that story. It's very much a day in the life of these guys, and you get little snippets throughout the entire book about what's going on in each of their lives and maybe what's going through their head and things like that. And so, yeah, I'm enjoying it, but it's just not like a really compelling read. And I've had this problem with the other Danmei that I've read, which was Heaven Official's Blessing by MXTX, where it's just like, it's a really nice read, but I'm not compelled to pick it up or, keep flipping the pages when I do pick it up. It's just like, oh, I'll just read a couple chapters and then, okay, I'm done. Like, it's one of those types of really casual reads. It's not like this at all. There's nothing there that's like, oh my gosh, okay, let me read one more chapter. It's just like a really nice, relaxing read. And so it's definitely a change of pace for me. I'm enjoying seeing these guys get to know each other a little bit better and, kind of see their lives individually from time to time and see what they're going through, why they decided to rent this place, what's going on in their lives that brought them here to this point. And so, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think this is going to take me a bit to finish, but it's just a different type of read for me. It's not the type of thing that I'd normally go to, but I am enjoying it. So that's where I am with River Bay Road Men's Dormitory Volume 1. I know that the second volume is going to be coming out in July. So I'm enjoying it enough that I think I am going to go ahead and pick up the second one. I don't think anything like weird is going to happen in this book that's going to make me say, okay, no, I don't think I want to read the next one. It's a good read. I'm enjoying it. It's just not really compelling. This one is a light novel, so it does come with pictures, illustrations inside. So here is when they first move in their first day. So the washing machine broke down, and so this guy is fixing the washing machine, and then this is our photographer character. So it's really nice to have the illustrations as well to kind of visualize what these guys look like, especially identifying them on the cover. And so, yeah, enjoying it. We'll definitely be continuing with that one, and it'll take as long as it takes. And then my audiobook I decided to pick up is called Wolf at Bay, which is the second book in the Big Bad Wolf series by Charlie Adhara. So I think I read the first book in this series last June, and I enjoyed it. Again, we've got a pair of queer detectives, but this one has a supernatural element to it. So in this one, we have a guy who is in a sector of the FBI that investigates supernatural crimes and happenings. And so the government has decided to start this program where they pair up people from this department with actual supernatural beings to help the understanding and cooperation between supernatural creatures and the government. And so we follow a guy who gets paired up with a werewolf, and they're like part of the beginnings of this program. And so it's basically Criminal Intentions, but with a supernatural twist. I'm enjoying, I enjoyed the first book that I read. This second one, I'm just in the beginning of it, and they're not investigating a case at this point. We're kind of getting a little bit more insight into their personal lives at this point of where I am in the story. I'm only 4 chapters in, so it's really early. I'm sure they're going to catch a case sometime in this book, but where we are, the guy who is in the FBI Special Division, his brother is getting married, and his father, who is a police officer or a retired police chief, I think, really wants him to come home. And he has been avoiding his family because he decided that he didn't want to follow in the family footsteps, though his brother did. And it was kind of expected that both of them would be in the department at the same time, and that's just not what happened. And so he just doesn't want to get into it with his parents, but his brother really wants him to be there for his wedding, and so they make the trip to his family and his family's place. And so they had just gotten there when I finished listing for the day. And so it's interesting. Again, this one does get explicit as well, but I do like reading both Criminal Intentions and this Big Bad Wolf series kind of in tandem, because it's the same kind of feeling of series, but it's different enough where there's still crimes and investigations going on. We've still got 2 queer detectives on both sides. The cases are just a little different, and with the supernatural twist, it makes it different enough where it feels like I'm not reading the same things. The wolf character in the Big Bad Wolf series is Korean, and so there's a little bit of representation there as well. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. I believe this particular series is only 5 books, though, and so I'm really enjoying it. I think I first heard about this series from 365801, and so really looking forward to continuing and seeing what happens in this installment. So that is everything that I'm reading. That's everything that I've read since I talked to you last. So I guess it's time for a very small Yarnie update. So I've only worked on one project since I talked to you last in my Competo bag. This is my Gemini by Jane Richmond. Can't remember. Yes, Jane Richmond. See, these little card things are coming in handy. So I have my Gemini. I probably should have been able to finish this over the last couple weeks, but I have been out and about, and so I was not able to. But this is my Gemini, and I have finished my body. So I'm really, really happy with how it looks so far. I just need to do the 2 small sleeves, and then I will be done. So this is definitely an impending finished object. I just gotta cast on the sleeves, or put the sleeves back on the needle, knit whatever I need to, and then finish this off. So by the time I talk to you next, I should have this done. This is a free pattern on the Knitty website. It is being worked on in Knit Picks Cotton yarn in the Swan colorway. This is a DK weight yarn, 70% tangy cotton, 30% linen. We have 123 yards in a 50-gram skein. This is all I have left of the skein that I was working after I finished the body. I'm not sure that I'm going to use this one when I cast on the sleeve. We'll see. The cotton is a little bit more finicky when you're trying to weave in ends because it is a little bit more slippery. But I've tried a couple of different ways. I think I found a way that I like best, and so hopefully that will hold up. But yeah, very happy with this. I think this is going to look great, and it seems to be the right size as well, so that's always a relief, right? And so yeah, I really do think this is going to be one of those shirts that I just wear all the time. And so yeah, I already know that when I'm done with this one, I am going to be casting on that tank that I had bought yarn for at my last trip to Joann's. And so I'm really, really looking forward to casting that on. I just need to finish this first. So hopefully it won't take me too long, but I just need to get it done. And so that is everything that I have knit on in the last couple weeks. Not too much. It is getting warmer here. The temperature just doesn't seem to want to stay in one place. It is super hot one day and then it gets cool another day. It seems to be on an upward trend right now, which I'm glad that it's going to finally decide to maybe stay in one area, but at the same time, do not like the heat. So, what has been taking up my time? Well, my coworker did retire at the end of May, and so we're kind of in an adjustment period right now where her replacement is taking over, and it's been a little bit bumpy, but it should only get smoother from here on out. So there's that. I have been occupied with a couple of other things in my life. So one of those things being a trip to California Adventure. So I think I've told you guys before, and if you watched any of my vacation vlogs, we are Disney Vacation Club members, and as part of being a member, we do get perks here and there as members. And one of the perks that has come up is that we get kind of special viewing area for the new shows that are going on at the parks. So this week there was a special viewing area for the World of Color Happiness show, which is the new World of Color show that came out for the 70th. And so we had a special viewing area for that as club members. And so we were at the park and it was fun. I will say the show is a little bit, I don't know, discombobulated, I think. For me, it didn't really flow very well. There were showings of the Muppets during the pre-show, but one of the songs that's sung during the show itself is the Rainbow Connection. It's very much an iconic Kermit song, and there were no Muppets to be found during that song at all. Some of the mashups that they did were a little bit weird to me. There was like a Moana and Incredibles mashup, which I thought was strange. I've watched Moana. I'm not a big fan of the Incredibles, what I've seen of it. I think I've watched it once, but it doesn't really stick out in my mind. And so, yeah, and then it feels very much, the show in itself feels very much based on the Inside Out films, and I have not watched Inside Out. And so it didn't really hit for me. But it was nice to have a special viewing area. And yeah, we have one more opportunity to have a special viewing area for the Paint the Night Parade and the projections that are going to be on the Small World. They have a new projection show that they put out on the Small World. And we will be going to that later. But yeah, might as well use the perks while we have them available to us, right? And so, yeah, we spent the day at California Adventure and just hung out, had a good time, ate snacks. Again, I took my camera, but I just wasn't inspired to film. It was hot. There were a lot of people. And yeah, hot and a lot of people are not my favorite environments to be in. But I also don't enjoy like filming when there's a lot of people around, because I don't want to put people in my videos that don't want to be there, right? And so if I do end up filming where there's people, I try to like put the blur, on them so that they're not visible or identifiable in my videos. But it is a lot of work. And so, yeah, I decided to just not film. There wasn't really anything of note to like document. I did film part of the show, which I probably had put over when I was talking about it for you to see, just little snippets. But the food that we had that day was okay. Nothing like super spectacular. The tiramisu dessert that they have down at the Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta place in California Adventure was actually very good. But yeah, I was just like, am I going to pull out my camera just to talk about this one dessert? I don't think so. We had the cheeseburger bao, which is very similar to the cheeseburger pods that you get at Animal Kingdom and Disney World, but they were super expensive, and so I don't recommend buying those, even though they were good. I'm kind of hoping that when they open the Avatar Land in California Adventure, that they bring the like full menu, or at least some of the menu, including the cheeseburger bao plate that you can buy there, because it is more cost effective that way. But yeah, those were good. We had a couple of churros, just plain churros. None of these like specialty churros that are out there right now I'm really like into. And so yeah, we just kind of hung out, enjoyed the show, and came home. But it was an all day thing, and so yeah, it it's still like we had to get there earlier to get our reservations and stuff. So, you know, lots of time and things like that. And it was just a nice day. And then I have been kind of rekindling my love of coin pushers. So when I was a kid, there used to be an arcade at the mall in Hawaii. And we used to go every once in a while, and they'd have this coin pusher in the middle, close to like the ticket redemption counter. And my mom, my brother, my sister, we'd all go, and we'd feed the coin pusher, and just like, you know, it's relaxing to watch that shelf go back and forth, right? And push the coins off, and then you get that ASMR of the coins falling and things like that. It was always something that I really enjoyed. And for a while, when I was a kid, it would collect the coins. So when you pushed coins off, you'd get the coins back to play. And they were tokens. They weren't actual coins. They were tokens that you had to exchange for. But then when I got a little bit older, they changed it so you don't get the tokens anymore. You got tickets. And so after a while, you know, we didn't visit the arcade very much, and the arcade ended up closing, and just kind of forgot about coin pushers. But daughter and I have been kind of playing the Sum Sum Festival game on our gaming channel, and we specifically play the coin pusher game on that game. And I was just like, I enjoy it so much. I ended up going onto YouTube and seeing if, you know, coin pushers were still popular in arcades and things. And we came across a whole slew of people who film coin pusher gameplay. And I was like, oh my gosh, the coin pushers have gotten so like intricate and involved, and there's so many different concepts and things. And it kind of made me want to see if there were any around me, and there are. And so we've been spending our time exploring coin pushers. Which, you know, it is something that takes me out of the house. It gets me out of the house. It gets me some exercise because I'm having to walk, right? Which is not something that I have a lot of walking, or I take a lot of steps during the day, because I do work from home and my job is mostly sedentary. And so I definitely want to jump on that opportunity to be able to take more steps. And so it's been fun. We've found a couple of coin pushers near where we live that are really fun, and we enjoy playing them. And so I think we're going to try to make it a regular, semi-regular thing. There are a couple of other arcades that are a little further away from where we live that I think we'd like to explore. And so, yeah, very new, kind of getting back into the arcade, visiting kind of thing. But yeah, I pretty much have never really been an arcade person other than, you know, like coin pushers. Like, I have memories of when we were really small and we come to the mainland and visit, and when, you know, my grandparents and my mom would go to Vegas. We as kids obviously can't be in the casino, but every hotel has an arcade. And so we'd get money and we'd play in arcades. And my siblings and I would always play like this. There was this X-Men game, and there were 4 like terminals on one game, and so there are three of us, and so we'd all play together this X-Men game, and it was really fun. But other than that, I haven't really been like an arcade type person other than the coin pushers. And really, there was only one coin pusher that we play, and it was just like a simple coin pusher. Like, there was nothing to it. You just like drop the coin in, and it does the kind of, is it Pachinko? Kind of goes through the maze. And then it drops on the thing, and you hopefully push some coins off the shelf, and then hopefully that pushes some more coins off of the second shelf. And so, I don't know, there's just something about it that I really enjoy. And, you know, with all of the concepts that they have now, it can get like super interactive, and there's like collectibles that you can collect to get even more tickets and things like that. So we're just kind of enjoying our time, kind of exploring, seeing what's available around us. And so, yeah, it's been fun. But all of that has been taking away from crafting and reading and even TV watching, because obviously we're away from home. And it's not like I can like stand in front of a coin pusher and like listen to an audiobook, because the arcade itself, or at least the ones that we've gone to so far, are loud. And so it's not something that I think I could do. Like, even if I did try, I think I would have to rewind all the time. So that's just not, it's just not something that can be done. But I'm enjoying myself, and I think that's the kind of, you know, main thing, right? You enjoy your life, and I'm kind of enjoying just like getting back into, well, one, going out, right? And then two, kind of rekindling something from my past. And so daughter's really enjoying it too. We're watching a lot of people play these on YouTube, found a whole bunch of other people to watch as well, and we're just enjoying stuff. So yeah, Disneyland, Disney California Adventure, or I should say just Disney and coin pushers have been taking up my time. But like I said, I am enjoying myself. And so, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to share with you today. Let me know down in the comments below, have you ever played a coin pusher? Do you enjoy them? And if you play them now, do you have ones that you enjoy? Like, which ones are your favorites? I've played, I think, SpongeBob. There's a Star Trek. We play a Spider-Man. Angry Birds. But there's like so many more. And I don't know if any of them are available near me, because, again, really new about this. But if you've played coin pushers or you play them right now, which ones are your favorites to play? I would really love to know. If not, let me know what you've been up to, what you've been reading, what you've been watching, what you've been working on. I would really love to know. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me some kind of, is there a coin or like money type emoji down in the comments below? For the coin pushers, that would be greatly appreciated. It would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.